Hello everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of The Ins and Outs of Comic-Con. This is a series where I will basically be giving tips and tricks for being at Comic-Con because it can be quite the tricky place to navigate, especially if you've never been there before. My name is Jada and I've been to Comic-Con 3 times so far, so I like to think I'm a pro. Just kidding. There's still a lot I can learn about making a Comic-Con experience the best. So this series will not only be teaching you guys some tips and tricks, but also helping me learn some stuff. So to kick this first episode off, I have a very special guest with me today, the one and only Noah Abel.
All right.
Who is a Comic-Con veteran.
Thanks for having me.
Noah, tell us, how many times have you been to Comic-Con?
Approximately 11 or 12 times. I am 21 years old, and the first time I went was when I was 5.
That's way more times than I have been. If anything, you should be hosting this show. But fortunately, you guys are stuck with me. But Noah still has a lot he could teach you guys today. So Noah, do you think you know all there is to know about Comic-Con?
I hope so. I've been pretty successful over what I plan to get over the years and what I want who to meet. So I think that kind of proves that I can give very successful tips.
So I like to divide San Diego Comic-Con into 3 categories type things. First is the inside of Comic-Con, which is where, you walk around to buy merchandise, collectibles, where you can meet artists, even meet and get signings from celebrities. Second, we have the panels inside of Comic-Con, and this is where artists and actors and creators go to promote their work, talk about new movies or shows coming out, and where they open up the floor for fans to ask questions. And third, we have the outside events, which is personally my favorite. It's just really fun activities to do outside. The outside events are free. Don't have to have a ticket to go in. But for today's episode, we're only going to be discussing the inside of Comic-Con because it would be way too long to discuss every aspect of it. Before we talk about the inside of Comic-Con, we first have to figure out, how do you get tickets?
So buying tickets is really complicated. You have to go on comiccon.org and you have to register your name to get a Comic-Con ID. And then once you have an ID, you have to wait for the weekend that tickets will open online, and it's usually in approximately around the November month. Tickets usually open at 8 a.m. so you have to get as many computers as you can ready and have maybe family or friends help you.
So now that we bought our tickets and we have our badges, we're able to go inside Comic-Con. What happens when you go in the exhibit hall? What merchandise is there to buy? How are you able to get it? What type of stuff do you see and everything,
Alright, let me break it down for you guys. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, I got tickets for my best friend when we were 17 years old, and we went to Comic-Con together, and it was his first time. So I made a huge list on what to do, what to get, how to buy, where to buy. So at the exhibit hall, there's everything you could think of. There's t-shirts, there's comic books of course, there's collectible figures, there's props, swords, lightsabers, even cosplay. There's just a ton of merch, more than I can even think of. There's just kind of a way to navigate when to buy, depending on how exclusive and rare the item is. Things like comic books or collectible figures that you can find at your average comic book store or at Target or Toys R Us that you see there, and you go on Thursday, your first day, and it's marked at $25 and you're debating whether or not to get it. If it's mass produced and you see it a lot everywhere and you still want it, maybe you should wait until the last day when vendors and companies are more willing to just sell the toys because they don't want to bring it back to the storage. So if it's at $25 and on Thursday and you come back Sunday, it's most likely going to be a little cheaper than that, like $20, which benefits you because you get to save money and you get the toy you've always wanted. Another tip that I've learned, and if you want to save money and you want to bargain with vendors, you can. It's a collectible show at heart. But if you go to a a reseller, a vendor that has old toys from the 90s or 2000s, and you see a Batman figure for 20 bucks, you could say, does 15 work? They might say yes, they say 18, and then you have a higher chance of getting it for a little cheaper.
So you mentioned exclusives. What makes something an exclusive?
So exclusives are, I think, the coolest things from Comic-Con, because exclusive Comic-Con merch is merch such as comic books or action figures or shirts that are only sold at Comic-Con. And what's even more rare about that item is that they're numbered and they're limited to probably only a couple thousand. So what you have in your hand is very rare, and if there's an exclusive you want, you have to get it on the first day, because since there are exclusives sell out super fast. So how to get exclusives? Exclusives are a little more difficult to get. So what you have to do, most likely, if you see an exclusive, you have to look online. There's a very important and essential and key website to look for tips and tricks about Comic-Con as well. It's called SDCC Unofficial Blog, and they have a list of every exclusive that a convention is releasing, all of them. There's over hundreds of exclusives that different companies are selling, and you could see how much they cost. You could see what booth they're at.
And this is before
way before, like
the convention starts.
Probably 2 months before the convention starts, they have the website and release the list of exclusives day by day. Before the convention opens its doors, you should download the map of the convention center so you can see which booths are located.
Yeah, so you really want to do your research before you even step foot into the convention center, because you really want to be prepared.
And if you want an exclusive, I recommend lining up in front of the Comic-Con Convention Center well over 4 to 5 hours before the convention center opens. The convention center opens usually around 9 a.m. So you probably want to line up around maybe 5 or 6.
So, aside from all the merchandise, exclusives, and collectibles you can buy inside, you can also meet celebrities and get things signed. But how do you do that? You can't just walk up to a booth and ask for a signature.
The convention center probably opens around 7 a.m. And I know I said that the gates opened at 9, but the gates open at 9 a.m. for the exhibit hall. But the doors open at 7 a.m. to line up at different lines and line up at different locations to get to your destination. So it's like a line to get into a line to get into a line. Very complicated. There's a big part of the convention center on the very top called the sales pavilion. And the sales pavilion is where they have lines to get the opportunity to get signatures from your fan favorite cast. There's a limited amount of signings. If there's like a CW cast signing, the most, I think there's around maybe 200 or 300 signings available, or signing tickets available, in a raffle box full of thousands of random tickets. You want to get there before they sell out, and also you just gotta be lucky. But there's also signings for individual people, maybe content creators on YouTube or artists, and those are usually in the exhibit hall. And what you usually have to do is go straight to their particular booth, get a wristband to hold your spot for meeting that content creator or artist, and get it before the wristbands sell out. It's very complicated because it's even confusing for me to talk about.
It sounds really hard.
It's super hard, you know. You just gotta be super lucky, you know.
And these are free, right? You don't have to pay for a signing with celebrities or anything.
It's completely free. All you gotta pay for is the ticket to get in, but once you get in, it's a fight to get whatever you want.
So you've actually done a couple of signings before, right? Tell us one of your experiences with that.
I have a lot of good tips just keep on coming off of the top of my head. Or when I met the cast of Captain America and the Winter Soldier, that was super amazing because I met Anthony Mackie, Sebastian Stan, Samuel L. Jackson, and Chris Evans. My dad took me and we got their autographs. But the unfortunate thing happened that when my dad tried to record a video of Chris Evans saying hi to my mom, my dad unfortunately ran out of storage and memory on his phone, so it didn't press play. So as a fan and as someone who wants to meet celebrities, make sure you have enough phone storage on your phone. To the comic book fans, the minority of people who go to Comic-Con unfortunately are comic book fans, because since bigwig celebrities go to Comic-Con, a lot of fangirls and a lot of stans go to Comic-Con to meet them and not the actual creators who make the source material for the actors. If you actually want to meet the artist, you can meet them at Comic-Con, more specifically Artist Alley. There's this place called Artist Alley in the corner of the convention center where tons of artists and writers who write your favorite comics promote their artwork and, you know, sell exclusive prints that you could hang on your wall. If you want a specific artist to draw you a very unique drawing, then they will most likely do that for you. You just got to get there early enough. You can message them on their Instagram or Twitter to pre-order a remark or a custom drawing, and they're probably gonna cost around maybe 100 to 200 or maybe more, because you got to think about this. The artwork they're drawing for you is 1 out of 1. They sign it. It's very unique. There's only one of them out there, and they put their hard work and effort into that drawing. What I do all the time is, if I see my favorite artist, bring some of your comics out of your comic book collection, because they will of course sign it for you, and that makes that collectible even more valuable and sentimental to you.
Yeah, and support these artists, you know, buy their artwork, because it's a lot of work for them to do, you know. They're not always getting the recognition they deserve.
Oh no, they're not. If it wasn't for the artists and writers, we wouldn't have Comic-Con to appreciate the actors and celebrities who make the stuff we enjoy and watch on TV.
A big tip for Comic-Con is, you know, you want to be prepared, so there's a lot of things that you want to consider bringing.
Bring comfortable shoes.
Yes.
Because you're going to do a lot of walking.
A lot of standing.
More walking than if you were to go to Disneyland or a hike. Let's just go fast about the stuff you can bring. Phone charger, a water bottle.
You want to bring a backpack if you're going to be buying a lot of things, or just any type of bag, you know. Another thing you might want to bring is like a couple of snacks, because Comic-Con food is expensive.
Yeah,
inside.
and it's not that tasty either.
Yeah.
It's the same
just
amount.
some basic chicken tenders and fries.
The food there is like a mix in the middle between high school lunches and sport event foods.
And another thing you can buy at Comic-Con is posters. And one useful thing to have is a poster tube. You know, a cardboard tube where you can put posters inside, so that way you're not folding them to fit inside your backpack or anything.
So when you're around the convention center, the companies are there to promote their newest products. So they usually hand out freebies, like they have a bunch of free posters, free keychains, free anything, you know, free comic books. Don't be afraid to get it if it's free, you know. It's really fun to have those memorabilia from Comic-Con, because those freebies are also Comic-Con exclusives. You most likely can't get those exclusives from anywhere else. So when you're at Comic-Con, you're gonna see a lot of cool people dressed up in cool costumes. Just make sure you ask them if you could take a picture with them, because, you know, cosplay is not consent. You want to be appropriate, you know, because they're being comfortable enough to show their talent and what they create. You want to be respectful of that. Yeah,
and don't be afraid to dress up yourself, you know. There's not really a lot of judgment going around Comic-Con. Everyone is there to nerd out, so. So that was a lot. Thank you so much for giving us all of these tips. I definitely learned a lot that I didn't know today, and that will be useful for me in the future next time I go. Tune in next time for when I discuss the panels and the outside events. But for now, this has been the first episode of the ins and outs of Comic-Con.
Oh, if you want to know more about Comic-Con and what to do, tips and tricks, or other pop culture stuff, follow me here.
We also have a video on his YouTube channel about all the exclusives that we actually bought in Comic-Con, so, you know, I'll put that somewhere here for you to watch if you're curious to know what things we've actually have gotten.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. You know your stuff.